つか夢の終わりについたような気がした運命線をたどった血跡りかりの新宿結んでほどいて手のひらに残す現状は連美に至るんでサンプルばっかちょうどいいのに更新ばっかから正直は日常が切な心よぎれ残像はいつか消えてしまう断りと記憶組み合わせて再生を体が世界を響くさあのホームはもっと奥窓にはビルの夢が終わったの告げるように今捉えよう
前科あり多数の女性に対しストーカー行為を繰り返し準強姦罪での逮捕歴があります。
Well, we stopped yesterday here, so let's see.
実刑4年の判決を受けており刑期を終えて半年前に出所しています。
The victim was a stalker, which made him related to the July homicide. Rita Sugawara could be brought in for questioning today. I have to go to see her. Once she was under investigation, headquarters control, it would be difficult to meet with her. I didn't intend to obstruct the investigation, but for some reason I couldn't let this go. There was no doubt that Rika Sugawara held the key linking the stalking incidents.
捜査権限のない人間が容疑者に接触して事前に捜査内容を漏洩することになる。証拠隠滅や逃走の幇助って形になるよ。
Hey Nero, I don't know why it gets censored, but actually I am, yeah, that's true. But also my dog has a bit stomach problems because I was by my parents today and my mother gave her like something from she shouldn't get. So yeah, that's why I am awake because she don't let me sleep. Yeah, she actually has diarrhea. I was outside with her 2 times. One time she couldn't even go and make like her things. But yeah, I hope it gets better because she was like running around the whole time in my apartment and I was, oh my god, it's happening. But anyway, now I'm awake and I will stay awake.
こっそり事件のことを調べる。じゃ済まない。バレればよくてクビ。悪くて。
Thank you. I mean, what can you do? Nothing, right? It is like with childs, with animals, you know. If you have a dog or a cat, I mean, for a dog is this, but if you have a dog, it's like you have a child. because I slept 14 hours. Holy shit, that's a long time.
今度は君が罪に問われることになる。
I mean, you have 2 dogs and live alone with the 2 dogs, or you live with someone together? Because it makes it different when you live alone. Oh, okay. That means you don't live alone, I guess. It'd be alright, I know. Going to see her today. I'll be okay. I won't do anything scary, crazy. What the fuck, scary? I hit my grandparents and uncle. Yeah, I mean, then you just need to look alone for them, which is a good thing. But if you're alone, you just need to care for everything, you know? I'm coming with you. But you have your job. Holy shit. I mean, that sounds horrible. I told you, right? Let me protect you. What now? Honestly, the changes were high that Rika Sugawara was involved in some form. Yeah, drugs are not good. Alcohol is also not good, so just don't drink, don't use drugs, and you will be fine, I guess. Also, if people are drug addict or have an alcohol problem, the personality totally change and they just can get really, yeah. To be careful in case the darkest scenario came to pass. It would be a relief if Okazaki was with me. Could I ask you to do that? Of course, we are on friendly terms now, so obviously I want to help. I mean, if you drink so less, then it's fine. But if you drink all the time and all day and verbal abuse your girlfriend as example, that would be not nice. I mean, I don't say you did this or something, but I know people that did this to other persons. Yeah. Friendly. In Okazaki's mind, we were apparently now friendly with each other. I have seen him quite a lot over the past few days. I was bewildered, but there was a happiness inside me that I couldn't hide. When I read his message, it unconsciously made me relax. We still didn't know each other very well, but it made me happy to know that he considered us to be on good terms. Oh well, Nero, you never know. Maybe sometime there will come a woman and you just think that is it, you know? From the voice, I guess you're very young, so you have a lot of time. Maybe I'm a little embarrassed. I mean, that's still young. What you talking about? Thank you. See you soon.
よくわからんが SP の方についていただけるならありがたい。失礼のないようにするんだぞ星野。
Yes, sir.
では岡崎警部補よろしくお願いします。
I felt terrible seeing Moshida have to humble himself like that. Yeah, just take your time. Now that I think about it, Okazaki was an SP officer from Central Headquarters, so his jurisdiction superseded ours. His rank was Assistant Inspector. Maybe I had been acting a bit too casually towards them around the office.
俺は持田さんとも仲良くなりたいな。だっていちかちゃんの先輩なんだし。
いえ仲良くとかとんでもない。恐縮です。
Moshida, I'm so sorry. I mentally apologize. When we arrived at Rika Sugawara's apartment, I took deep breaths to calm myself down. Moshida stood by at the building's entrance. Okazaki was lurking in the shadows down the hall just in case something happened. He concealed himself at a distance that was just far enough that he could still hear what was going on. Yeah, see, that's always a good idea. That's how I make it. I just play old home again games and get some Bandos for my collection. Best idea. Also, you can always repeat it to play and look at them. I checked that we were ready and then rang the doorbell. Sugawara came out when she saw that it was me on the monitor. Thank you for the other day. I wanted to talk today.
そろそろ来ると思ってたわ。
Something was wrong. She was in an uncannily good mood.
ニュースを見たの。昨日の焼死事件。被害者の身元が判明したそうね。
She seemed quite happy about this news. Fourteen rifles is not enough. We should get 20.
あの男が何をしたか知ってる？女性を付け狙うだけじゃなくて、ゴミを漁ったり、盗撮したり、手紙を勝手に開封したりしてたのよ。
This woman would actually look so much better if her haircut would be different. I'm not even kidding. Her haircut is just horrible. And hey Yuzuke, and congratulations. Nice, nice. Then we can soon farm also artifacts together.
盗聴器で生活音すべてを録音して、わざわざそれを送りつけもしたわね。それから自分の体液を玄関になすりつけていったこともあったわ。ご丁寧に 盗撮した写真付きでね。
Who's your favorite DPS, Yuzuka? If it's Ayaka, just grind the Blizzard set.
ネットではあることないことを書き連ね、勤務先には年上の男と不倫をしていると嘘の密告電話をしたわ。
Oh, you should decide which one is important. You should really look that you build a DPS first if you want to make crystals, I mean primo gems with the abyss.
ああ、それから大量の手紙を送りつけたりもしていたわね。安っぽい愛の言葉を並べた手紙。
Did that happen to you too? She answered me with a smile. I knew it. Grew tense as I connected the dots in my head. If she had been erased by Kiga, yesterday's burn victim, then that would be definitely her to boss the arson murder and to the crime in July. In other words, she was with Adonis.
あの人が私を救ってくれたの。ただ泣いて逃げ惑うだけの日々をあの人が終わらせてくれたのよ。
It's for the main quest, so should I replace Raiden for the time being for Jingling? Jungling, you mean? Maybe, yeah. So the man you love is...
あら、あなたにも愛する人ができたの
？I was taken aback by her sudden off-topic question. Rika Sugawara squinted at me for a while. Then she smiled.
そうだったのね。何か変わった気がしたのよ。私はね、初恋なの。だから嬉しい気持ちと同じくらい怖さもあって。ねえ、あなたの愛する人はどんな人？その人のことを考えるとどんな気持ち
？Sugawara blushed as she asked me. She looked kind of like she was a schoolgirl gossiping. Clearly, this conversation was going nowhere. Maybe she was caught up in her obsession, because her demeanor had completely changed from earlier. She sidled up to me with a friendly look. Oh, it is. I'm just speaking a bit not so loud than normally. That's probably why. Okay, but you can understand or you can't. Well, the guy I like. Wait, why it didn't change what? I think it should be better now. He's very reliable.
そうなの。
I just said the first thing that came to mind, but Sugawara giggled innocently.
ねえ、場所を変えて話さない？どうせ近くに男がいるんでしょ？
Oh, well. Hesitating, I glanced towards where Okazaki was hiding, but nothing happened. He should tail us without letting himself be noticed. Thinking that, I noted. Should I focus more crit rate or AR on jungling? Crit rate and crit damage on jungling. You should, Yuzuke. Sugawara guided me through the back door of the apartment complex. I figured Okazaki would explain things to Moshida. I couldn't let this chance escape now that I had gotten Sugawara to be more positive.
こっちよ。
The new Vermilion set looks interesting, but why does the goblet look like a... I mean, I don't know. You should ask Hoyoverse about this. Oh my god. We walked through several narrow paths in the residential area until we finally arrived at a park. What the fuck? Is this now better? I think the music is a bit more silent. This is... I could still remember it clearly. Crimson flames. A still blackened figure. Withering heat.
そこのベンチに座りましょう。
Sugawara shouldn't have known what had happened here, but she calmly sat down on the exit bench. A man had burned to death here yesterday. The police cordon had already been removed, but it was still being patrolled by the police. Why did she bring me here? I was bewildered, but I sat down next to her. It would be difficult for Okazaki to eavesdrop on us here, no matter where he had hidden himself. I hope this all works out.
私ね、恋バナってしたことないのよ。初恋だって言ったでしょ？付き合ってくれるかしら？
Love stories? A potential murderer was getting excited about gossiping with me in a park. This was all too surreal. Relax. I have to stay calm and coax out her story.
その人のことを考えるとね、今までの人生がどうでもよくなるの。私はこの人のために生まれてきたんだって心から思ったわ。その人のためなら何だってできる気がするの。
What's he like?
そうね。優しい。実はね、その人のことあまりよく知らないの。でもいい。だってあの人は私の神様なんだもの。
Oh God. In what way he is kind?
私の悲しみに共感してくれたわ。最初は私が受けた傷なんて分かりっこない。口先だけで同情してるんでしょって疑った。でも違ったのよ。あの人は私の悲しみも苦しみも全部理解してくれていたわ。まるで自分のことのように悲しんで泣いてくれた。諦めなくていい。怯えなくていい。もう悲しまなくて済むようにって私に。
You've been through a lot.
そうね。今となってはもうどうでもいいことだけど、
Okay,
毎日
Nero.
世界のすべてが敵に見えたわ。
Yeah, thanks.
ここ昨日の焼死事件の現場だってあなたなら知ってるでしょ。
Yes, I do.
さっきも言った飢餓という男はね、たくさんの女性に愛を訴えていたの。殺したいほど愛してるんですって。でもおかしいわよね。それほど愛する人が何人もいるなんて。彼の愛は自己満足で軽かったのよ。
Nice, Yuzuka.
なのにあれだけのことをされて許せるわけがないでしょ。毎日毎日どこに行っても監視されて、その日の私の行動をすべて報告してきて、ポストには毎日分厚い愛の手紙。何度引っ越しても何度警察に訴えても何度も何度も何度も何度もついてきた。
Sugawara's voice grew increasingly grim. I could hear the madness seeping into her voice as she relieved her past fears. Ayato is S tier and Ayaka is SS tier. I actually can tell you why, Yuzuka. It is because Ayaka is just strong if you have her on C0. That's why. And Ayato on C0 is okay, I guess, but not like totally strong. Even Ogata must have felt the same massive sense of despair. And someone had taken advantage of it. Adonis, probably. You're a victim. You deserve sympathy for everything that happened to you in the past. So, don't add anything else to the list of what you've...
ねえ、あなたの好きな人は？
I wouldn't say it's a cryo aspect that makes her strong. Sure, cryo is a strong element, but still, I think pyro is also very strong.
頼りがいがあるって言ってたわよね。他にはどんなところがいいの？
Sugawara wasn't paying attention to me. No, she's pretending she didn't hear me. She had brought me here on purpose, meaning she was probably ready to be arrested. She wasn't even trying to hide her involvement with the murder. Or maybe she knew that there was no possibility she could escape it. She could also be allowing herself to be captured on Adonis' orders.
ねえ、聞いてるの？恋バナに付き合ってくれるんでしょ？
But I can tell you, sometimes you shouldn't listen on the tier list. Sometimes you should just play what you like to play. I mean, there are characters in those lists, like Noelle, that have a very shitty ranking, but they are very strong if you have them C6 and give them the right gear. The sight of Sugawara acting like a girl in love made my chest tighten. She had committed sins to defy her tragic past. She was even prepared to be caught. And now she was acting like she had recovered a long-lost treasure. It was impossible not to feel for her. The guy I like is a very strong man. There was no such person, but I spun a tale to satisfy her request. Okazaki suddenly came to mind. Of course, I didn't feel that way about him. But he wanted to help, and I felt better when he was around. And sometimes he made me anxious. Those feelings sounded milder to hers. There are times when I don't know what he's thinking, but he's very gentle. He's always concerned for my sake. When I'm lost, he doesn't just encourage me, he shows me where I need to go.
いい人ね。
Oh, I think he is a good character, Yuzuke. If you don't have another Pyro DPS, Diluc is a very good character. Yes, he has incredibly focus on his goals. He's strong. Actually, I didn't know what Okazaki wished for. But I knew that once he decided on something, he was stubborn and unyielding. It's only been a few days, but I guess I've learned a few things about him.
素敵だわ。あなたの恋、うまくいくといいわね。
Thank you. Mrs. Sugawara, how are the things progressing with your partner?
進展？そうね。叶うなら一緒に死にたいわ。
Wow. Her muttered reply was full of affection and sadness.
寒くなってきたわ。戻りましょう。
Okay. Sugawara quickly rose and I hurriedly followed her. I still hadn't gotten her to tell me anything that could be used as a solid lead. I also hadn't thought of any way to convince her to stop. On the way back to Sugawara's home, I thought about how to solve this. So she really was one of Kiga's stalking victims. She was holding a piece of paper that was like the ones I had seen burning around the dead body. The answer came naturally when I pieced together all the fragments of information I had so far. In the past, she had received that note from the stalker Kiga. She should have been safe once Kiga was arrested, but then another stalker targeted her, Shimizu. On top of all of that, she felt cornered once Kiga was released. I couldn't pretend not to see it anymore. While I didn't know if she directly participated in the killing, she was undoubtedly a suspect.
楽しかったわ。付き合ってくれてありがとう。
Oh, not at all.
もう会うことはないと思うけど、あなたの恋、応援してるわね。
With that, she started to re-enter her apartment. Please wait.
何？
Now wasn't the time to fuss over decorum. This is what I should do. I wanted to protect those who'd been hurt. I just couldn't compromise on that. I don't care if I lose my job. Before I knew it, I'd already asked the question. Adonis threatened you, didn't they? You told me what happened to you. I know that you're not trying to run away, but as I was about to try and convince her to turn herself in, Sugawara
何を言ってるの？
her demeanor abruptly changed.
脅された？私が？あの人が私を脅したって言うの？
But you could have been instigated.
ふざけないでよ！
I stiffened at the angry shriek. Her eyes were now burning with unimaginable rage.
あなたに何がわかるって言うの？あの人の何がわかるのよ？私は脅されてなんていない。やっと普通に愛することを知ったのよ。やっと普通の人間になれるのに。
Miss.
私は生まれ変わるの。邪魔しないでって言ったでしょ。あの男が逮捕されて、やっと普通の生活に戻れると思ったのに、今度はまた違う男が現れたのよ。どうして私ばかりがこんな目に遭うの？普通に好きな人から愛されたかっただけ。愛したかっただけなのに。私を愛するのはいつもおかしな男ばかり。どうしてなのよ。
She's not listening anymore. I glanced down the hallway and spotted the cuff of Okazaki's uniform. I could handle a woman of her size by myself, but I need backup if she turned violent. I might need him to step in if things escalated much further.
そう。でもね、もう昔の私じゃないの。だって生まれ変わったんだもの。今の私は愛する人から必要とされてる。ちゃんと役目をこなしてる。ちゃんと愛し愛されてるのよ。ね、すごいでしょ。素晴らしいことでしょ。
Sugawara sized me by my shirt collar, her eyes bloodshot. My shirt button popped open. With a sudden pull, my collar had been exposed. This is bad, but if tell her it's just an accessory. I covered my neck in a flurry, but Sugawara was staring directly at my neck.
何それ。あなた、それとも仲間なの？私、あなたはカウントダウンに参加してないわよね。手を汚してないのにどうして？なんであなたなの？
Just hold on. I don't know what you...
嘘よ。嘘だわ。ゼロが選んだのは私なのよ。
I stepped back in confusion. I had no idea what she was rambling about. Suddenly, Sugawara clutched her head in her hands and squatted down, mourning. What's wrong? I rushed over, worried. She was muttering something to herself.
ゼロ。怒っているの。ごめんなさい。お願い。怒らないで。お願いだから。そう。この女は仲間なのね。あなたにとって大事な人。
Miss Sugawara.
ごめんなさい。本当にごめんなさい。許して。
There was a sudden flash of light from above. She was swinging a knife down at me.
伏せて。
I immediately dropped to the ground in response. Okazaki had silently appeared, snapping a kick that knocked Sugawara's knife away. The knife clattered to the ground, spinning.
邪魔しないで。
Okazaki. As Sugawara recovered and advanced again, Okazaki took hold of her hand and... It all happened in an instant. She lost conscious and fell to ground.
柔道でいう締め技をかけただけだから命に別状はないよ。
Thank you.
怪我はない。
No, I'm fine. As I said that, I looked at Sugawara on the floor. She recognized my collar. That could only mean that she had a definite connection to Adonis. But what did she mean by comrade? And she said something about the countdown. And who's this Zero? I was confused, but I tried to maintain at least the appearance of composure. Okazaki. Arrest her for obstruction of a public servant. But just as the words were leaving my lips, I stiffened as an unbelievable scene began to unfold before my eyes. Hmm.
動かないで。
Okazaki, please, this isn't the time for jokes. I managed to get those words out, but once I saw his eyes, I was terrified. Those were not the eyes of a man who was joking around.
その首輪は何？
I tried to cover up my neck, but it was too late. He'd already seen everything.
彼女との会話も聞こえた。仲間なのかって言ってたね。
That was a mistake. I frantically searched for the right words, but my thoughts were distracted by a different source of dread. Okazaki, a police officer, had learned about the existence of my collar. If the police found out, I was to be executed. No, not here. I recalled the threat I'd been issued before, and I couldn't stop myself from trembling. I had no idea when the pain of the fatal poison being injected would come.
岡崎圭さん、彼女は我々の良き理解者です。決して危害は加えないでください。
Okazaki expressionlessly diverted his pistol's aim from me to the collar.
今の声はここから。星野一花さん、君はアドニスの一員、 X デーに関わる犯人、脅されているだけの警察官。
Okazaki's eyes narrowed and his finger came to rest on the trigger of his gun. This was no joke. He'd probably shoot me without hesitation if he didn't like my answer. If I spoke the truth, I'd be poisoned to death. If I couldn't think up a convincing lie, Okazaki would shoot me. My dilemma played out in an endless mental loop, and I broke out in a cold sweat.
早く答えて。
彼女の代わりに我々が答えましょう。彼女は我々に必要な人間であり、あなた方警察の味方でもある存在です。彼女は善良な人間です。むやみに死なせたくなければ、決してこのことは口外しないよう。ですが、我々の邪魔になるようであれば、彼女のことも排除します。
The voice stopped. There was a strained silence. I stood stock still. The silence seemed to go on forever. Okazaki's pistol, the barrel never wavering, stayed trained on me.
「昨日起きた事件の近所に住んでるのよ。怖いから引っ越したいんだけど、補助は出るわよね。なんだったら新居を用意してくれてもいいわ。」
I apologize, miss, but that's outside of the scope of problems that the police office is able to address.
区民を守るのが警察の仕事でしょ。今度は私が事件に巻き込まれたらどうしてくれるの？
I'm very sorry.
爆発音が頭から離れなくて眠れねえんだ。どうして事件が起こる前に防げなかった？
Sir, you're absolutely right. We're doing all we can to stop these crimes.
きれい事はいいんだよ。さっさと全部解決しやがれ。
I signed helplessly as I wearily finished processing the last of the day's incessant calls from the citizens. They were all regarding the new X-Day crime that just occurred yesterday. I kept busy, but all I could think about what had happened.
つまり、君はその首輪で脅されてるってこと？
I was trembling too much to give an answer, but I managed to nod at him. After letting out a small sign, Okazaki quietly lowered his gun.
脅されて警察の情報をテロ組織に与えてるの？
Even if I wasn't actively doing so. So long as I had the collar, that's what was happening. I almost started to explain, but then I swallowed my words. Right now, anything I said would just sound like an excuse.
脅しなら何か弱みを握られてるんだよね。
There's a poison injector in this collar. If I tell the police, I'll be killed immediately. I felt disillusioned just saying it aloud. Up until now, I thought that I was personally key to cracking the X-Day incident wide open somehow. I figured that if I had a connection to the criminals behind the collar, I had a lead. But it was really just my own pride saying that. I say that I want to protect the people who have been hurt as a police officer. But I honestly just didn't want to die. That was truly the strongest motivation I had.
毒で殺されるって言われたら怖いよね。逆らえなくても当たり前かもしれない。毒が本物だって示すために最初に何かされた？
Yes, they gave me a dose of slow-acting poison first.
そっか。それじゃ仕方ないよね。
His tone was sympathetic, but I thought I could see disappointment in Okazaki's eyes. Maybe I wasn't imagining it. I had no idea how he thought of me right now. But I was afraid of disappointing him.
でもね、今君が言ったことが嘘じゃないって俺には判断できない。状況から見ればスパイだって言われた方が納得できるからね。
His eyes were full of caution. It felt like they were piercing through me. I couldn't force myself to move or to even just breathe. It's already been a week. I hadn't seen Okazaki since then. He had always been kind and friendly to me, so maybe I'd felt dependent on him. From the start, he had been a loyal police officer. It was reasonable for him to feel hostile towards someone that could be linked with terrorists. But if he had actually shown me a little bit of his trust, then I had betrayed him.
君は優しくてまっすぐな子だから。誰かの傷を自分のことのように考えられるのも本当は悪いことじゃないって思うよ。でもいちかちゃん、君の本来の役割を忘れないで。自分の願いを叶えるためには何かを切り捨てなきゃいけない時がきっと来るはずだから。
I'd been fixated on the idea of being a police officer, and he'd encouraged me repeatedly. I'd betrayed someone who cared so much for me. Ushida had noticed the commotion after the altercation, and he and Okazaki had helped to take Sugawara into custody. Then he had left without a word about the incident. He didn't even out me to Moshida. Rika Sugawara had been arrested, not for interfering with my police duties, but as the perpetrator of the arson murder on the 8th. But during interviews, she had become frightened and distracted, vehemently insisting that she knew nothing. When I heard that, I thought something was off. According to Shirashi, during the interrogations, she
知らない。私、本当に何も知らないんです。確かに清水にも比嘉にもずっとストーカー被害を受けていました。怖くて、気持ち悪くて、警察は全然取り合ってくれなくて、何度も死のうとしたわ。楽になりたかった。でもそれと同じくらいあいつらのことも殺してやりたいってずっとでも実際には殺してません。当たり前でしょ。そう思ったからって本当に殺せるわけないじゃないですか。殺せるわけない。だって私反撃したら私が殺されるかもしれない。監禁されていたぶられて殺されるよりひどい目に、生きるよりよっぽど怖い思いをするかもしれないのに、殺して終わるんだったらあんなに長い間苦しい思いをして我慢した意味がないじゃない。証拠？アドニス？生命？知らないって言ってるでしょ。聞いたこともないわ。知らないの。お願い、家に返して。怖い。誰か。ああ、でもそうよね。家に帰ったってどうせまた違う男が現れて私を追い詰めるんだわ。だったら犯罪者として捕まった方がマシかしら。そうよね。私の人生とっくに壊れてるんだから。私は何も知らない。でも神様なんていない。誰も助けてくれない。もういいの。
彼女の様子を観察したんだけど、嘘はついてないように見えたね。過去のストーカー被害についての言動も矛盾はないし、それに対して強い恨みがあったことも隠してない。
What about the X-Day cases?
何も知らないと主張してる。彼女の言葉に嘘はないよ。
But when I talked to her, she wasn't even trying to hide her involvement. She visibly didn't care that she would be arrested for it. And she indicated that she knew about my collar, the countdown with 0, and some kind of target. Most of all, she said that she found someone she loved, that he saved her like he was a god. That person was most likely the Adonis member who brought her into the fold. I hadn't sensed any dishonesty in the way she talked and acted about her beloved. But in the interview, she said,
神様なんていない。誰も助けてくれない。私は。
まるで今の彼女とは別人だね。
different person.
まあ、捕まってもいいって言ってたなら、それが答えなんじゃないかな。捕まっても自分が事件の詳細情報やアドニスのことをばらさない自信があった。絶対の自信がね。
That means
記憶を消されたんだよ。
The seemingly random suggestion was hard to believe, but it was consistent with the facts. Moreover, the suspect arrested for the shooting death on the 7th had refused to speak to police, and more recently had fallen into a smiler state. Only the portion of her memories related to Adonis have been erased. One could infer that Sugawara wasn't in Adonis' leadership corps, even if she was tied to them. Furthermore, the X-Day countdown had continued even after she was arrested. Several office workers had fallen off a rooftop on the 11th. No, someone had pushed them to their death. On the 15th, the Tokyo Metropolitan Office had been bombed, resulting in numerous deaths. A coin had been left at each sense, along with the Roman numeral 1. All of the incidents in December had been accompanied by countdown. We'd assumed that Sugawara would give up some intel on Adonis if she was related to them. But she could just be disposable pawn, and there were likely many others such agents. Investigations headquarters was too understaffed to deal with the scale and frequency of the attacks. SRCPO was being deployed in crisis mode, tasked with gathering as much information as possible. We had no time to investigate past crimes, and of course I couldn't look into removing my collar. I'm tired.
心ここにあらずって感じだね。
Shirachi, what are you doing here?
たまたま通りかかっただけ。ずいぶん悲壮な顔してるから、ちょっと興味が湧いてね。
It's so like you to not actually be worried about me.
もしかしてだけど、誰かにそれバレたりしてないよね。
He was looking at my neck as he broached the taboo subject. I involuntarily sucked in a breath.
当たりか。今のところ無事でいるってことは、猶予期間かセーフな相手だったってところなのかな。
Shirachi was lost in thought as he analyzed me, avoiding meeting his eyes. There was no point in lying to Shirachi. The best I could do was avoid telling him too much.
でも、心の方は無事じゃないみたいだね。
He know that much? I couldn't ask for help or even get angry. I just held my silence.
たまには息抜きに事務所に行きなよ。柳くんたちも寂しがってるんじゃないかな。
With that parting piece of advice, Hibachi jauntily departed. Maybe that remark was him showing concern. He could also be telling me to consult Yanagi's team for advice. But with uncanny timing, a new message arrived just as I let out a deep sigh. It's from Yanagi. Can you come by the office today? We want to ask about the July case. I had been sharing information with them since the murders started anew, but I hadn't seen them in person. Work had been too busy, and to be honest, I didn't want to go to the office. There was good chance that I'd run into Okazaki. I didn't want him to look at me with that icy stare again.
今のところ無事でいるってことは、猶予期間かセーフな相手だったってところなのかな。
Chivachi's analysis had been dead on. I'd only been given a grace period. The criminal behind the collar was probably determining whether Okazaki could be trusted with the information. I can't carry this on my own anymore. I wanted to speak with people who were familiar with the situation. Understood. I'd stop by when work permits. I sent a reply and returned to my work with a heavy heart. It had been a week since I pointed my gun at her.
演技には見えなかった。
Her terrified eyes were still filled with emotion.
毒入りの首は、さすがにそれは予想してなかったな。
I'd figured that she had some circumstance that led her to work with Aji's team. Of course, I had reported her to my superior the next day and cautiously observed her from next view following that. But as I got to know her, I learned was that she was someone who wasn't any real threat. She didn't show a hint of malice.
最初から嘘をついてたって可能性もあるけど。
My instincts told me that it was an extremely small possibility. I knew this because we were polar opposites. Because I knew my own personality well, I was sure that she wasn't the type of person who could concoct lies easily.
でも、それなら彼女は。
If I were to tell a lie that hurt you, what would you do? I feel the same way. The things that I'm trying to protect are very important to me. No, you were just worried. Thank you for holding my hand. Okazaki, you're strong. She'd been saddled with a poison collar and threatened, yet she had persisted in trying to solve the case and doing her police duty. Probably all by feeling a sense of guilt. I knew it once I pointed a gun at her. She hadn't tried to make any excuses.
君の方こそ強いよ。
Mentally, I loved bitterly. I felt that the premonition I had in my mind was beginning to coalesce in reality.
先輩聞いてください。ついにゲットしましたよ。
Hello, Purple. Yatta! Why it didn't work? What? There, I did it for you again.
何暗いとこでぼーっとしてるんですか。ほらほらこっち来て見てくださいよ。じゃーん、カロリーブロックこんにゃく味。先輩ずっと食べたがってましたよね。
I'm fine, I'm just a little bit tired, but I drink coffee a lot, so I will be fine soon. It just is my little dog had problems with her stomach and she couldn't sleep and was running around all the time. So I went outside with her 2 times. Now it's better because she could let it out. But yeah, still not good to go sleep again because I have also an appointment like in 4 hours. So I decided I just play a bit in this time. I hope so too. I think she was just eating something wrong yesterday.
ああ、うん。
こんな意味わかんないブツ食べたがるの先輩ぐらいのもんっすよ。店頭から消える前に変えてよかった。
うん、よかった。
なんか反応薄いっすね。あ、じゃあこっちは？
You don't need to wish me luck. It's like a normal visit thing that I have at 8 o'clock.
ドーン！信州味噌もつ煮込みグミ。これ食べた人の感想聞きましたけど強烈らしいっすよ。
そっか、楽しみだね。
これもダメっすか？じゃあとっておきのじゃじゃじゃーん！生子ポテトチップス。磯の香りを完全再現したつわもの。先に言っときますけど、俺は絶対食べたくないっす。だからいつもみたいに無理やり口に入れないでください。絶対ですよ。絶対やらないでくださいね。
My favorite Pokemon, take a guess. It's connected to how I look actually. It's actually the Alolan Ninetales.
うん、ありがとう。
Yeah, or Vulpix Alola. Yeah.
渾身の前振りだったのに、いつもの先輩だったら無言で笑顔で俺の口にねじ込むはずなのに。
His face. Oh my god.
なんか今日の先輩超ノリ悪い。一体どうしちゃったんですか？
大丈夫だよ。ちょっと考え事してるだけ。
ちょっとこっち来てください。先輩、本当に大丈夫っすか？
うん？ 何が？
この前からずーっとぼんやりしてますよ。まあぼんやりはいつものことっすけど、元気がないっていうか。
What do you mean, tot? Where's the female MC? You mean from Tears of Temis?
俺がやらかしてもヘッドロックかまさないし、ゲテモノ菓子は食べないし、生返事だし、道端で寝たりしないし。
Oh no, she's still alive.
何より笑顔がない先輩なんて不気味っていうか怖いっていうか。
体調は悪くないよ。
そうじゃなくて、ああもう切り返しまでずれすぎだし。
Well, I mean, she could actually die if the caller would give the poison out, or the X-Day terrorists would use the collar. Then she could die.
もしかしてなんか迷ってるんすか？
Yeah, that's why the game is Caller X Malice. Actually, the name from the game. She got captured and knocked down, and then get collared. And the collar is actually connected with a terrorist organization.
いつも即断即決の先輩がそんな風に考え込むなんて珍しいじゃないですか。
迷ってるか。
He was right, I was lost. No, not quite. I was still deciding whether my pronunciation was wrong or not.
もしかしたら彼女が俺の。
もしかして彼女のことっすか？
相変わらず変なところ鋭いな。
I was impressed.
吉成くんに心配されるなんて確かにちょっと重症かもしれないね。
Oh, wow. Wow.
その言い方はひどくないっすか？でもその方がいつもの先輩らしいんで今日は許します。
心配かけてごめんね。ありがと
う。やっぱり先輩熱あります？今日は俺に任せて休んでもいいっすよ。
To express my gratitude for my cheeky and endlessly amusing partner, I wrapped the arm around his neck.
先輩。
And then I started squeezing.
先輩閉まってるっす。苦しい。死ぬ。
大丈夫。吉成くんはこれくらいじゃ死なないよ。
Once I felt like I probably expressed my gratitude, I let him go.
俺にも限界ってもんが。あれ星野さんじゃないっすか？事務所に来るの久しぶりっすね。先輩も彼女と話せばきっと元気出ますよ。おーい星野さ ドギー首が折れる。またっすか？なんで今日は首狙い撃ち？
The name from the main character is Ishika Hoshino Purple. Yeah.
静かにして。
話してくれたら静かになるっす。だからお願い、話して。
Keeping an eye on Yoshinari, I signed and rested against the wall again. My eyes followed the path she'd taken.
あんなことがあっても事務所に来るってことは、まだ諦めてないのかな。
The pronation I'd had was growing stronger.
彼女に会って確かめるしかないか。
Any suspicions I had that she might actually be connected to the criminals had pretty much disappeared. My actions, reactions, and implied thought process had been enough to demonstrate her innocence to me. I wanted to see her in person and remove my remaining doubts. I only had one premonition left. If she didn't run from me once, I directly put the question to her.
もしかしたら彼女こそが。
She could be the ideal person I'd been seeking. Someone I'd been seeking for a long, long time. The ideal one who would grant my wish.
きっとそうだ。
My prediction had already become conviction. Good afternoon. Who? It was unusual for Yanagi to be the only one in the office. Where's Sasasuka and Enomoto?
6月の事件の新情報が入ってな。それを確認しに出かけた。
I'm surprised that even Sasasuka went out to check on it. My mental image of Sasasuka was of him permanently attached to a seat in front of his computer, so it was hard to imagine him going outside.
情報がガセがそうじゃないかで榎本と言い合いになって、売り言葉に買い言葉で付き合うことになったんだ。
He does seem pretty short-tempered. Maybe he was actually the type that was easy to provoke.
呼び出したのに俺だけで悪いな。
Please, don't worry about it. I sat down on the sofa across from Yanagi. He shrugged his shoulders.
顔色が悪くないか？最近メールの反応も鈍かったしな。何かあったんじゃないかと心配していた。
I considered airing all of my worries once I got in here. But now that I had no idea where I should begin. Yanagi sighed softly as he saw me struggling to break the silence.
ちょっと待ってろ。
He got up and went to the kitchen. After a couple of minutes, Yanagi returned with a coffee mug. Oh, that smells like... I thought he brewed me tea, but the mug contained hot cacao.
疲れてる時は甘いものが効くだろう。
Thank you. I raised the mug so that it hit part of my face. There was plenty of hot cacao inside. I took a sip, signed, and instantly felt more ease.
俺でよければ話してみてくれ。話しにくいことなら無理はしなくていい。
Buoyed by Yanagi's kindness, I slowly opened my mouth. The truth is, I explained what Sugawara had said and how Okazaki had found out about the collar.
そうか。
Yanagi murmured, sinking into silent thought. In the end, even though Sugawara and Ogata were arrested, we couldn't gain any leads on Adonis. Meanwhile, the casualties keep rising. And I realized this from the way Okazaki reacted. I might lead the way to solving the case, but I'm throwing off the investigation. I wonder if we can really solve the X-Day cases. Even though I knew the terrorists were listening via the collar, I couldn't help but express lament. Once the words started coming, they just wouldn't stop flowing out. Now that I've thrust myself into the thick of it, I know that this won't wrap itself up neatly. I talk confidently about being able to listen to what people are saying, but I couldn't even have a proper conversation with Sugawara. I don't have a grasp of the truth of the crimes. All I'm learning is how complacent the police have been. I sighed deeply. Yanagi rose from his seat and came over to sit down next to me.
こら。
He poked me in the forehead.
弱気になるのも不安になるのも怖くてたまらないのも全部わかる。でも諦めたらそこで終わりだ。事件のことも首輪のことも誰かが解決しないとならないことだ。俺たちもできる限りのことをする。だがお前が諦めたら意味がないだろう。
Yanagi.
諦めるな。倒れそうになったら背中ぐらい貸してやる。だから絶対に諦めるな。
His repeated, impassionated insistence that I refused to surrender sank deeply into my exhausted mind. He's right. I can't give up. It's all over if I do. Thank you. I absolutely won't give in. Yanagi nodded with satisfaction at my answer and returned his former seat.
ところで岡崎の件だが。
I twitched at Yanagi mentioned his name out of the blue.
SP という人種は少し特殊だ。身体能力や判断力はもちろんだが、何より求められるのは自己犠牲の精神。いざという時、自分の命を投げ出してでも要警護者を守るという気概が必要な職業だ。
Yes, I know.
だが、それはいいことばかりじゃない。SP が守るのは、あくまで要人や危険が迫った人間、つまり、警護対象が何よりも最優先される。自分の命も犠牲にするが、任務のためならそれ以外の、例えば、一般市民の犠牲でさえ見ないふりをすることもある。
Yanagi's description made me distinctly aware of how unique the SP was.
警察としては正しい姿かもしれないが、俺はそう簡単には割り切れなくてな。
Yanagi's complicated expression was pained, and he folded his hands.
例えば、重要人物を守らなければならないときに、大事な家族に危険が迫っていたら、誰だって迷うだろう。だが、それを迷わないのが SP なんだ。
I gave some thought to Yanagi's words. For instance, if Okazaki's principal and I were in the same place, and I was held at gunpoint, Okazaki would protect his principal. That was obvious. As an SP, he was committed to the mission. The altercation at Sugawara's was the same. He hadn't hesitated to draw his weapon on me when he thought I might be working with the enemy. I understood that, but for some reason, it also depressed me.
岡崎とはもう接触しない方がいい。首輪のことがバレた以上、いつ警察内部に密告されるかわからない。心根は悪いやつじゃないと思う。が、徹底して SP という職務に忠実だ。お前とは相入れないと思う。
You might be right. The more I thought about it, the worse I felt. Perhaps seeing my gloomy expression, Yanagi lightened his tone to try to alter the mood. I'm gonna have to go now, but okay, sleep well, Purple. If you go to sleep. I don't know.
協力しろと言っておきながら、これまでまともに手伝えなくて悪かった。お前にも仕事があって大変だろうが、明日から俺と組まないか。
So I guess you probably don't go to sleep. I mean, yeah, then enjoy whatever you're doing, I guess. But won't I just slow you down?
一人で動こうとしても、今はどこから手をつけていいかわからない状態だろ。
Yes.
なら、俺のサポートしてくれ。お前が手伝ってくれるなら、俺も助かる。
No, Kyoko, you should go to sleep. You're young and you need the sleep. I was happy for the offer, but I hesitated to take him up on it. Maybe that's just an excuse. Actually, if I teamed up with Yanagi, I was pretty worried that I just might never speak to Okazaki again. I decided not to give him an answer right away and left the office for today. No, you have to sleep. I can stay awake because I'm a ghost fox and I'm already dead, you know. When I went outside, the sun had long since set. A chill wind blew from the north. I really don't want to avoid him and stop speaking to him. If I avoided him, I was sure it only deepened his suspicions. He's not here. I mean, then I guess we both are fine, you know? I looked around to check if he was hanging around the office.
あれって先輩を探してるんじゃないですかね。
I turned around at the familiar voice. Yoshinari was watching me from a alleyway.
ああ、見つかっちゃった。ほらほら先輩、見つかっちゃったら仕方ないっすね。
Wow. Oh, cool, yeah. That's a good sound. A familiar sound. Oh my god.
吉成くん、君。
ああ、ここで逃げたらおかしいな。星野さんに変だって思われちゃうな。
Okazaki walked this way, spurred on Yoshinari's goading.
おっと、自分は風が冷たいからここから出たくないっす。ああ、寒い寒い。
Okay, sleep well, Kiruke. And sweet dreams. What was he doing? Yoshinari ducked back into the alley. He probably thought that he was doing us a romantic favor by leaving us alone.
1週間ぶりだね。
Yeah. Okazaki wasn't smiling. He watched me with a slightly tense expression. But he wasn't showing the caution or hostility toward me that I expected. Maybe he wasn't in a good mood, but it was still a relief to me.
一つお願いがあるんだ。
I looked up at his quiet voice.
もう柳さんたちには関わらないで。君はとっくに気づいてたと思うけど、俺が柳さんたちを警護するのはあくまで表向きの任務。俺の本当の任務は彼らを監視してその動向を上に報告すること。
I suspected that, but it really was true that the police leadership suspected Yanagi's team and deployed Okazaki on false pretenses. They're a group of competent ex-officers. It makes sense to keep tabs on them.
彼らに関わってる以上、俺は君のことも報告しなくちゃいけない。
That also seemed like common sense, given his mission.
確か首輪の声は、君の事情を口外したら殺すって言ってたよね。俺の存在は見過ごしたみたいだけど、これからの行動次第で君の命が危険にさらされるってことはわかる。この会話もあっちに聞かれてるんでしょ。
Yes.
本来なら君のことを報告しなきゃいけない。警察に首輪の件もばらすことになる。
Okazaki really had avoided telling anyone because of the warning he'd received from the collar. And now he was telling me to stay away from Yanagi's group, out of concern for my well-being. But I'm stuck with it unless I investigate more. I can't get this collar off alone. I hesitated, unable to answer. Okazaki murmured sadly.
俺はいざとなったら君を撃つことすらしなきゃいけない。警護と監視、それが今の任務だけど、それを別にしても 警察に反する人間は見過ごせないから。そうなってしまったら、俺は君を守れない。
I understand. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't shocked, but I could accept what he was saying. On the contrary, I respected his steadfast determination as a police officer. I want to live up to that. If you decide that I'm leading things astray, then I want you to shoot me without hesitation. I'll try not to get any closer to Yanagi's team. Then I have to, so you won't have to report me. But I'm not going to stop investigating the X-Day cases.
どうして？
Well, the conditions the caller imposed upon me. But more than that, because I want to. I want to solve them and fix Shinjuku. I want to protect the people who live here. So, I'm not going to run away. I firmly and clearly stated my determination to Okazaki. I made sure it wouldn't seem like lip service. I purposely gave myself no wiggle room to retreat. The cold wind blew between us. After a while, he quietly whispered,
見つけた。やっぱり君だ。
Then he made that smile I knew. No, it was something I'd never seen from him. It was a brilliant smile, like he found a precious treasure.
そっか。わかった。君にはちゃんと覚悟があるんだね。
But that smile only lasted a moment. Immediately, he was back to his usual lazy smile. I'd only sensed it for an instant, but that smile he displayed had seemed genuinely, fantastically happy. My determination must have gotten across. Also, Okazaki, I'm sorry for hurting you.
なんで謝るの？
Okazaki's words had opened my eyes to the painful truth, and because of that, I'd learned something. I knew now that the real Okazaki was a very kind person. He's helped me so much. I knew that it was hard for him to point a gun at someone that he said he'd protect. I'm really sorry for hiding the truth from you and for making you feel bad for reacting to it the way you did. Okazaki blinked. He was clearly surprised. His face told me he hadn't expected an apology.
やっぱり君ってすごいね。謝る必要なんてないよ。俺こそごめんね。
What are you apologizing for? I tilted my head curious. Okazaki looked up at the sky.
君は怖くないの？犯人に脅されてることだけじゃない。俺は 君に銃を向けた。
He slowly asked the question, as if he wanted to be sure I understood him. He directed his gaze back downward until he was staring straight at me.
自分のことで精一杯なはずなのに、俺の心配までしてる。どうして逃げたいって思わないの？
Of course I'm scared. I answered honestly. I'm scared that I don't know how to help and that I could be killed at any time. Yes, I had always been uneasy and afraid of that. I'd wondered why this had to happen to me. But every time I had felt lost, Okazaki had returned me to reality. With his resolute, straightforward determination, he taught me how to remain rational. It had to be because he had pride in his own work. As a fellow police officer, I wanted to follow his example. I'm a police officer. If there's a chance I jeopardize the investigation and I cause more casualties as a result, then I should absolutely be sacrificed. I think that as a police officer, I need to have that conviction. So, I don't want to give up on helping out in any way that I can. Okazaki was quiet for a while.
君は強いね。
Then his expression softened and he spoke with a smile.
よくわかった。
That was all he said. Then Okazaki left before I could stop him. He had completely vanished from the street. Yoshinari ran over in a panic.
もしかしてうまくいかなかったんですか？もったいないっす。あんなできる男他には絶対いないっすから。確かに人の良さそうな顔して容赦ないし、おっとりぼんやり見せて意外と細かいし、いろいろと面倒な人ですけど、でも
Apparently, Yoshinari had misunderstood things. As I was unsure how to answer, Yoshinari stood up straight.
星野さん。
Yes?
ちょっと俺、語りますね。
Okay.
俺、星野さんにはちゃんと先輩のことを分かってもらいたいんです。今の先輩が変なのは多分星野さん絡みだと思うから。
Well, I'd like to know more about him too. Please.
あの人はですね、ああ見えてすっごく自分に厳しいんですよ。普段おっとりしてるから俺も最初はびっくりしたんですけど、こうと決めたことを絶対にやり抜く強い意志を持っててブレないんです。自分は守る側だからって、なんていうか自分のことは二の次にして相手に全部捧げちゃうようなとこがあって、だからかな、いざっていう時の判断力が半端ないっていうか、シビアだけど的確で全く迷いがない。多分職種的にも迷っちゃいけないって自分を戒めてるとこあるんじゃないかな。だからあの人が迷うなんて普通だったらありえない。 なのになんかあの人最近おかしいんですよ。本気で迷ってるように見えるんです。仕事を放ってまで別のことに意識が向いてるっていうか、本当に今までこんなことなかったんです。だからもし星野さんが何か知ってるなら元気づけてあげてくれないかなって。あ、俺の思い違いだったら申し訳ないっす。別のことで悩んでるのかもしれないし。
No, that's probably my fault. Yoshinari, you really look up to Okazaki, don't you?
はい、厳しいとこもありますけど、あの人が俺の先輩でよかったって思ってます。俺たち SP って本来は要人警護がメインじゃないですか。よく偉い人間を守ることしか頭にないとか、一般人は見捨てる情のない人間だって言われることもあるんですけど、そういうので俺が怒ったことがあって、その時先輩に言われたんです。俺たちは SP は国にとって特別なものを守ってる。それがいつかは普通に生きてる人たちのためにもなるって信じてるから強くいられる。それだけは忘れないでって。あの人を見てたら俺も強くなれるんです。目の前のものにとらわれて守るべきものを見失っちゃダメだよなって。
Yeah, Okazaki is straightforward man.
はい。だからできればですけど、あの人のこと捨てないであげてください。
Maybe you do have the wrong idea after all.
長いこと引き止めちゃってすみません。先輩いないし、今日は俺が送りますね。
The next day. I was absent-mindedly filling some paperwork at my desk.
また模倣犯が出ました。先ほど犯人の身柄が確保されたようです。
誰か窓口対応して。列ができちゃってるってさ。
児童公園でぼや騒ぎ。先日の焼死事件の模倣犯とみられます。
I was going to do what I could as an officer, like Okazaki had told. But all the things considered, it really would be best if I joined forces with Yanagi and his team on this. I guess I try to sleep a bit now. So, thank you for joining. I will save this here and then we play the next part in a few hours, I guess. I hope I could sleep then a bit. So thank you for watching, guys.